Good morning, friends. Welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, my name is Lexi. I will put my Instagram up above somewhere. But in today's video, I'm gonna do a little vlog and also update of where I'm at in my reverse diet. I believe I'm about 5 weeks post-show. I don't know, time is flying, but I am feeling good. My weight is like a pound up from stage weight, which is very odd. Like, I'm not complaining. Obviously, that's not the goal, to like maintain stage weight, but my body has just been soaking up the food and really enjoying not having to do a lot of cardio. But I'm gonna talk to you guys also in this video about how to have an effective reverse diet post-show, because I know I have a lot of competitors that watch this channel, and post-show can be a really tough time for, like, I think everybody. You know, some people, they get a little carried away with the post-show treats, and it's like, uh-oh, I gained 10 pounds in a week. What do I do? So I want to talk to you guys about some of my tips for how to manage the post-show phase, because here I am 4 or 5 weeks post-show, and my weight has not gone up a ton, and I'm eating a lot more, doing so much less cardio, and it's kind of a cool thing. But I think a lot of that has to just go along with like how you treat those first couple weeks post-show. So welcome to the vlog. I'm gonna show you guys some of my food. I'm gonna talk to you guys about some of my goals, my check-in this week with my coach. I'll attach my progress pictures. We'll go through it all. But welcome to the video. I'm glad you were here, and enjoy the rest of the footage. So I'm gonna show y'all a little bit of my one of my latest obsessions is herbal tea. Okay, I have never been a tea person because I just don't like the taste of herbal tea. I always find it's like just tastes like bland water. But I have a little thing I've been doing to kind of spice up the taste of tea. So I've been really big on having, so first thing I do when I wake up in the morning is I chug like 24 ounces of just plain water. So I do that, and then I always make a glass of tea. So it's not the morning anymore, but normally I have a couple of these per day. So I always have a bag of tea, and I actually found this brand. It was on sale at Sprouts, and so honestly I just got it because it was so cheap, and I'm like, well, if I don't like it, it's fine. But it's actually pretty decent, and it has all these just like, I guess you could say, herbs in it, aloe vera, which is really good for like digestion, and so it's pretty decent, but alone it's kind of bland. So what I do, and this may sound kind of weird, but it's actually really good, don't knock it till you try it, is I warm up my water, I put my tea bag in, and then I actually add some of this PESCIENCE Versalite, which is the hydration and electrolyte powder. The black cherry flavor is so flipping good. It's so good with just water, but I've been putting a little bit in this. So it's this blueberry tea, which, like I said, is kind of bland on its own. But I'll do the water, I'll put the tea bag in, and then I put a little bit of Versalite, and then I've also been putting in a little fresh, like I'll squeeze a little bit of lemon juice in it, and it's really good, and I like having it in the morning. So like I said, first thing I do in the morning is I chug like 24 ounces of just plain water. And then instead of having like a cup of coffee or leaning on caffeine, which I used to do, I'm really focusing right now on like restoring my adrenals post-show, getting my stress down. Not that caffeine is bad, but I'm just trying to like bring down my caffeine intake, and so I'm trying just to do like pre-workout, and that's all my caffeine right now. So I have a cup of tea instead, and this is also like, it's really good for digestion, just having like a warm tea drink in the morning. And like I said, I put a little bit of lemon in it. This tea has aloe vera, which is helppful, like I said, for like digestion. So it's like my new obsession, and this is my second cup for the day. So I have usually like 2 or 3 of these per day, and it's a nice little sweet treat as well. So just wanted to share that. So I'm getting ready here to make a meal. So I've just got some air fried chicken breast over here, but this is my newest obsession, and it's this brand Brahmi. They sent me a ton of their products a little while back, and this is lupini dip. So it's made from lupini beans. This is kind of what it looks like, but I don't know if I can open this with one hand. Okay, it looks kind of weird because I haven't mixed it yet, because the oil, the olive oil, separates from the actual mixture, but it looks and resembles hummus. Essentially, that's what it reminds me of, and it is so flipping good. So I've actually been using this as like a dressing or a dip for my chicken instead of mustard, because usually I put mustard on my chicken for flavor. But the cool thing is, I'll show you guys these macros. So I mentioned it's very similar to hummus, but these macros are really, really good. So for 2 tablespoons, 4 fat, 2 protein, and 2 carb, which that's really, really good in my opinion. You know, especially, I mean, if you're somebody who's like in the depths of prep and you don't have a lot of fat macros to work with, maybe you know, maybe this is not something you want to endeavor in, but this is, in my opinion, really great macros. So low carb, so low, I mean, it's lower in protein, it's really just a little bit of fat, but it is so good and so flavorful. And I also like that there's not many ingredients in it. As you can see, the main ingredient is lupini beans. Second ingredient is olive oil, which is what you see here separated in, but it's been so good. It's really good as like a dressing or a dip for vegetables. And then, like I said, I've been adding it to my chicken, so just thought I would share. Alrighty, so I went to Sprouts, and I'm actually going to show you guys what I got in later clips in this video, but I absolutely love Sprouts Farmers Market. If you don't have one, I'm sorry, but I checked out their bulk section. I actually had to grab a couple things that I'm going to talk about and show you guys that pertain to kind of some things I'm working on. Alright, so I'm going to show you guys a little mini, what I like to call health haul. So I'm going to talk more about this after I do this clip, but I bought a couple things that I'm going to be implementing into my diet very strategically. One being this tofu right here, but I'm going to show you guys what I got from Sprouts. So I don't ever buy ground chicken, but I kid you not, you guys, this was 99 cents. I don't know why. It was just like a store special, so I grabbed this because it was very lean, and I eat chicken all the time, so I'm like, ground chicken, not that different. So we're gonna make that. I got some herbal tea. So actually, I think this is the same exact one I showed earlier in this video. Believe it or not, I went back to Sprouts and they had it on sale for 99 cents. So I got 2 of those, got the last 2. I got a banana. I got some Brazil nuts because I still have these daily. They're really good for thyroid health because they're very rich in selenium. I got flaxseed, so ground flaxseed, which is a phytoestrogen, and so I'm actually incorporating into my diet because of that, and I'll talk more about that after I film this clip. Got a few zucchini. I got some psyllium husk powder. So psyllium husk powder is the same as like psyllium husk, it's just this is the powdered form, or it's kind of ground up. I usually incorporate this once a day into my diet just for a little bit of extra fiber. And then yeah, last but not least, the tofu. So I am going to talk about, so tofu is another phytoestrogen. So I mentioned phytoestrogen when I told you guys I got the flaxseed. And so that's actually, these are 2 things I'm going to be incorporating into my diet starting right now per some of my blood work, which I'll talk about that and kind of touch on where my blood work is at post-show and kind of what I'm really working on. I tend to go through these like very holistic kind of like health eras after my shows where I'm like, or you know, not that I don't always look at food as like medicine and food as like, you know, for health reasons, but I feel like post-show it's more important than ever to nourish your body with lots of whole foods that have lots of micronutrients, you know, especially because as we get deep into prep, as our food gets lower, we're getting less nutrient variety, and so sometimes you can, you know, you can develop some vitamin and mineral deficiencies. So I'm going to talk to you guys about that after I film this clip and after I put some of this stuff away. Oh, and it's back here. Oh no, where is it at? I got some coconut flour too, because I didn't get a lot of it, but I'm actually going to experiment and try some pumpkin recipes because I have some pumpkin and I needed some coconut flour to make some stuff I wanted to experiment with. So that is what I got. Okay, so let me talk a little bit about my blood work. So I mentioned how I got a few things from Sprouts, like phytoestrogens, right? Essentially, those are just foods that can help to promote the more estrogen in your body just naturally, right? So I got my blood work done a couple weeks post-show. I'm gonna say like 2 or 3 weeks post-show. So I have the results back from that. I got those like a week or so ago. So I'm not gonna like go into like, you know, nitty gritty detailing and everything with my blood work, just because for the most part it was pretty like, I mean, it wasn't 100% and like normal. But granted, your blood work most of the time as a competitor is not going to be like 100% normal after a contest prep, right? So I got it done more so as a baseline to kind of see, okay, what am I deficient in? What's a little off? Like, what do I need to work on improving during my time away from stage, right? Because sometimes you may feel good, but you know, that doesn't always mean that everything internally is 100%, right? So the good news is, my blood work is actually, it's not awful at all. There was a lot of things that actually stayed really, really good throughout my prep. My adrenals are actually in a really good spot. I mean, of course, they need a little bit of work and improvement, but they are actually a lot better than most people typically see, like post-contest prep. So I was happy to see that. There were a couple things that came back, obviously, like my cholesterol is a little high. There was like some other little things that were a little high, but very normal post-contest prep. Again, not like normal in a sense of like, oh, I'm gonna ignore it, it's all good, but normal in the sense of I'm not needing to sit here and like freak out about it. Those things will typically come back to normal ranges as I like reverse out from a show and as my body just gets farther away from being stage lean, right? A lot of times there's little things in your blood work that are off just from your body being kind of stressed out from being stage lean, right? So my liver looks like it's a little stressed out right now, and again, that's just strictly like my cortisol is high, or I'm sorry, not my cortisol, my cholesterol is high, and strictly it's just, you know, like just from being lean. That's one thing I know a lot of competitors typically see like post a longer prep is like their liver enzymes are elevated. And again, it's not something like I just need to sit here and be like, oh, it's totally fine, but like it's not something that I can't correct with my reverse diet, if that makes sense. So I am going to be taking a supplement just for some extra like liver support that has a ton of natural ingredients in it to help with that. And then also my progesterone was a little bit on the lower end, so I am being put on, I want to say 2 natural supplements to help with that I just ordered, so I don't have those quite yet. And then I am going to, because my digestion the past week has been kind of like, it's been okay for the most part, but it's a little kind of so I'm going to be taking, I think it's called like butyrate. I can't remember the name of it. I ordered that as well. Just another, just kind of like, it's like a good probiotic, a good, just like gonna be good for my gut health. And then I also, we noticed that my estrogen is on the lower end, which I actually kind of expected this to be the case because I don't think I really talked about it much on this channel, but I did go off of oral birth control back in like February. So I was put on that a long time ago for various reasons from my general doctor at the time, and I decided earlier this year that I wanted to go off of it after just doing some research. So I did expect that my estrogen was going to be a little bit lower, especially from going off of that. So my naturopath recommended that I start to add in some phytoestrogens. So that's why I got the tofu, that's why I got the flaxseed meal, or the ground up flaxseed, because those are both very high in phytoestrogens. Another food that I'm going to be incorporating that's also a good phytoestrogen food is edamame. So a lot of soy protein is going to be good for like phytoestrogen, or they're going to be phytoestrogen foods. So I'm starting to incorporate a couple of things like that into my diet. And honestly, not that I like haven't been this way in the past, but even more so right now, I'm really looking at all my food from like a holistic viewpoint, and really trying to eat just a lot of whole foods, because I truthfully think food is medicine. I really do. Now I'm not saying that like it's gonna heal everything, but I think that a lot of like internal health, a lot of health markers can be enhanced by what you eat, and just the quality of your food, right? So I'm gonna start paying a lot more attention to that. So now I gotta figure out what I can do with my flaxseed. I'll probably add it to oatmeal or something, or I don't know what I'll do with it yet. Maybe add it to my smoothies. I don't know if that would turn out good or not, but that is kind of the rationale behind what you guys just saw that I ordered. I'm still taking all of my like general supplements that I took during prep, like my multivitamin, my ashwagandha, my omegas. I take glutathione as well, but I just ordered some other things, like I said recently, that are going to help with some of my blood markers that were just a little abnormal. So that's an update on that. But yeah, I wanted to touch base on that and give you guys a little bit of insight into what some of my goals are beyond just like my reverse diet goal of being able to get my calories higher, being able to get my cardio lower, putting on muscle. There's also a lot of like internal health goals that I have as well. Okay, so I wanted to close out this video and actually talk about something super important. I want to talk about reverse dieting and why it is so important to take the first, I would say, 6 to 8 weeks post-show so importantly. I think a lot of times, I would say I feel like it's not as much of a thing nowadays because I think people are more educated, but sometimes, I'll hear of some people or like first-time competitors may think like, oh, I'll do my show or my multiple shows and then boom, I get to go right back to being normal afterwards. And it's like, can you do that? Absolutely. But is that going to probably be the best decision to make? No. But I want to talk about something I see a lot, and it's really sad, and I just want to like spread this message because I think that, as a competitor, it is so important to make sure that you take the first month or 6 to 8 weeks post-show seriously, because if you don't and you fall down the slippery slope of just, eating whatever the hell you want and you gain a ton of weight super quickly post-show, and I'm not talking like, a few pounds. I'm talking like extremes, like 10, 15 pounds in 2 weeks. Like I've seen it before. It's a real thing. And unfortunately what happens is like I hear all the time, girls will do that. And then it's like, 2 weeks and they've gained 15 pounds and they're like, crap, I want to lose this weight. Like, coach, I want to diet again. And what they don't realize is you can't. Your body is not in a position where you can just go back into a diet and lose all that weight that you put on sporadically in 2 weeks, right? And so like that's the message I kind of want to get across here, is that it is so important that you do take your reverse diet seriously, because I think sometimes we think, oh, I go a little overboard for the first couple weeks post-show, it's fine, I'll just diet again to get that weight off. But what people don't realize is you can't do that. Your body, your metabolism is not in a spot where you can just go into being in a deficit again and lose that weight, right? It's like that weight you gain, really rapidly, it's not like you can just get it right back off again, because your body is not in a functioning state where it can do so, right? You've just chronically dieted yourself for, 15, 20 weeks for your contest prep. You can't just put on all that weight super quick post-show and then lose it again, right? It's just not healthy, and it's likely that your body is just not going to respond either. So that's why I kind of want to spread the message that it is so important to take your post-show seriously. Yes, you're going to gain weight. Yes, you're going to see that scale go up. And that's okay. You may have an untracked meal. You may have the day after your show, you may enjoy yourself and notice, oh my God, like, on Monday after my show, the weight's up, 5 or so pounds, but typically a lot of that's going to be water weight, and as long as you get right back on track, it's just going to fall right off, right? But it's the continuous like, oh, I'll get back on track tomorrow, or the continuous like week after week where you were just, going crazy with food, and then it's like all of a sudden you're like, oh shit, I'm up 15 pounds and I competed 2 weeks ago and I'm up 15 pounds already. I'm uncomfortable, I want to lose the weight. But like I said, a lot of people don't realize you can't just do that. You can't gain all that weight so quickly and then think, oh, I can lose it again. Because like your body's just not in a spot where you can go back into a deficit and respond effectively, right? So, that's one of the things like I always keep in mind is in my reverse diet, I know that the food is always going to be there. And I know that as long as I stay consistent, I'm going to slowly regain that balance or that food freedom back. And right now I am thinking I'm going to be competing in the earlier stages of 2024. So my goal right now with my coach is obviously to not gain a ton of crazy weight. Obviously stay relatively leaner right now. Of course, while working on like all my general health markers, that always comes first. That way, when I do prep again, I'm not having to lose, 22-ish pounds, which is how much I had to lose for this prep, and because that ended up having to be a long prep, right? But my point being is so important to take the first 6 to 8 weeks after your show, and like it's kind of important to think of it as like prep, honestly. Even though you're not essentially in prep, you're done with your shows for the season, your body is in a very vulnerable spot, and if you don't, take it seriously, then you could deal with a lot of just unnecessary weight gain that becomes really hard to get off. So I'm currently, I forgot to do my like little update in this video, so before I wrap up this video, I'm currently, I want to say like 1.5 to 2 pounds up from my stage weight. So It's really crazy. Like, I feel so good right now. Obviously, I mentioned there are some internal like health markers that I'm working on. Nothing crazy or detrimental. All stuff that will get better, you know, as I continue to eat more food, do less cardio, bring the stress down on my body. But I have been really pleasantly surprised at how my body has just been responding. I feel really good, and I think that my body is just really just responding well to the consistency and, you know, the slow introduction of new food, and, you know, the slow introduction of more food too. I haven't, you know, increased my food too quickly. I mean, it's up by a good amount, but it's not like I completely like doubled it, you know, right after my show. But I'm really happy with how things are going so far, and honestly, most importantly, I'm so happy with how I feel. Like, my strength is so amazing right now. I feel really good. I'm not as food focused. My hunger is pretty well managed. So that is my little quick reverse diet update for where I personally am. But I'm gonna wrap up this video here. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If there is anything you wanna see in future videos, please comment below. As always, thank you for being a part of my journey, watching my videos, and I will catch you guys in the next one.